Welcome back to another Tales from the PowerAge. Hi guys, how you doing? We got Gappy and Jammo again, so the normal crew. Great to see you. On this episode, we're going to be talking about From the Vaults, and it's a special edition of AC/DC. Now, you'll be glad to know we're not showing everything that I've got, otherwise this will be about a 5-hour show. I've just only been allowed to pick 3 things out, but hopefully you'll enjoy some of the stuff we're going to show you today. So, before we start, if you're enjoying these videos, please like, subscribe, and comment and get involved. I'm sure everyone's got a view, right? So please get involved. So, Gav, let's kick off with the special AC/DC From the Vaults. Ah, right.
Yeah, over to you, sir.
Over to you then, Dill.
Okay, right. Oh, you want that? Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so this is basically a show and tell. This is kind of stuff that you might be interested to see, themed around recent episodes. So we've all loved DC forever. And Dill has got a collection that it's going to make your mouth water. So we've had to...
Unrivaled collection, I think.
We have to beat him up to only show a couple of things this time, but I'm sure there'll be more show and tells in the future. So here we go.
Yeah, well, look, I'm only showing a couple of things today, and arguably it's what floats your boat, right? But this, in my opinion, is AC/DC's best live album. So this was released for radio stations in the US, a special Atlantic recording, and it's absolutely fantastic. Now, this is also included as a CD on the Bonfire set as well. But for those of you who are lucky enough to own one of these albums, there's some telltale signs that you probably want to be aware of, right? When it came out originally, you've got the record company letter, which I've got, which you can see there, which is absolutely fantastic. But there was also a postcard with it, an Atlantic Records postcard that came with it, which I haven't got. But there's a couple of things you just need to look out for. One, it's like cardboard, so it's quite unusual in terms of the cover. And it's like stuck on the back of cardboard on the back of the on the back of the album. On the run out, you'll see LA live at the Atlantic Studios, so LAS, and there's a cross out on it as well. So that's a real show that it's an original copy. There are lots of other little things. Now I got into talking to someone who's in a group for this particular album, and as you're looking at the album there on the bottom left-hand corner, there's some blue dots, which again apparently signifies it's an original and a bona fide, because you can probably appreciate this is one of the most bootlegged albums that AC/DC have ever released. But
I saw hundreds of them today at a record fair. I mean,
yeah,
they weren't pretending, most of them, to be anything other than bootlegs, but it's everywhere.
But it's absolutely brilliant, and it's one of my favorite pieces in my collection. It's absolutely fantastic. It sounds brilliant, and Bon Scott's brilliant on there as well. Some great one-liners in between the songs.
You live in New York City, is that not true? In which case, hell ain't a bad place to be.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, brilliant. Do you want to go on to the next one, Gav? So this one's really special to me because I got this signed at the River Plate premiere at Hammersmith Odeon, and I won a ticket, and I took another good friend of ours along, who's another AC/DC nut, and we got there, and there were thousands of people there. Hammersmith Odeon holds 5,000 people, and it was complete. They just given tickets away to fans, etc. And I'd won them through H&V, ironically. So I still got the ticket as well, stashed away down here somewhere. The band arrived
as well, didn't you? A couple of laminates.
Yeah, I've got loads of laminates, a pile of them. They turned up in limos, or I think it was 2 limos or one limo, I can't remember. But there were crowds of people, TV crews everywhere. And we managed to climb over some barriers and somehow end up right next to the door. So the band actually went down the lines of fans on 2 separate sides. And I'm pretty convinced I was the only one that got all 4 members that were there that day to sign my item, because as they came in, they were just stopping and signing some of the stuff. Now, this was Malcolm Young's last ever public appearance before leaving the band due to Alzheimer's, and then sadly passing away a few years later. Malcolm was really quiet on the day. He wasn't really engaging with anyone, but I was just delighted that he signed sign the CD. When Angus came over, I was just uncontrollably laughing with happiness. I couldn't stop myself. It was hilarious. I was probably the only time I've ever felt starstruck. I was so excited. It was brilliant. And Brian was brilliant. He was tapping everybody on the head and having a right laugh. And Cliff came over and had a good chat with everyone. He was just really a total gent. So, yeah, that's hung up in the office, signed, framed, and I love it. It's great memories. And you can buy signed stuff, of course, all the time, but there's nothing like having something signed that you've got signed because you just know. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
And then I think this is the final thing that I was going to show today. This is pretty rare. They're rare as hen's teeth, or hyper rare, or whatever you want to say. And these do come up on eBay from time to time. I think there's one on eBay at the moment being sold in Australia for about equivalent £2,500. So if anyone wants to offer me £2,500, I might consider it. At that price.
Don't think you would, to be fair.
No way you take that.
You're probably right. But look, this special book was there was a leaflet that came with Dirty Deeds that your fan would have been there, taken the leaflet out, filled it out, and paid $2 Australian and 95, and then got this songbook. And what's brilliant about it is they've got the songs from the album in there, but all these little cartoons that run throughout. There's one with Bond's tattoo that you could have cut out and stuck on your arm, which was a bit mad given it's a piece of paper. But that's what probably makes this so special and so rare. That of course kids in those days, well, one, it was in Australia, which is a much smaller country than most of the Western world, I think, for one. And then secondly, people would have been cutting this up and doing all sorts with it. So I don't know how many of these are around or how many were sold, but what I can say is you don't see them very often. And I'm absolutely delighted to be a proud owner of the AC/DC songbook. So if you see,
can I just ask you a question?
You can, yeah, and I'm not going to tell you how much I paid.
No, I know. But you've got Jailbreak there in the picture, but it's not on the album. But is Jailbreak actually in the songbook?
I think it is actually. Let's have a look. Right, here it is. Here it's all nicely wrapped up, kept nice. So let me just get this open. Just bear with me a sec. Sorry, I hadn't expected to.
Sorry, it was an unexpected question.
No, you're okay.
There, I just really want to know.
It's quite good because I can actually just show you what's going on with it as well. Hold on.
Well, to put a bit of meat on the bones, Dill's pride and joy of his Alive from Atlantic Studios. When I first went to his house a few years ago, I think he showed me that record before I met his dog. It's like it was that up high in his priorities. He said, "You've got to look at this, Jam." And I said, "What is it?"
Name?
What's his dog called, though?
I wasn't going to divulge that.
Oh, you can. It's all right.
Before I met Angus, his dog, yeah, I was introduced to Live at Atlantic Studios. And he was showing me the dots on the cover. So if that helps,
there you go. There's the parrot. Let's have a look. I did all this random stuff in here. It's total 70s. Yeah, there's going to be some rocking. It's a long way to the top, which of course isn't on Dirty Deeds. Big Balls, Rocker.
Right, so it's an AC/DC songbook rather than a Dirty Deeds.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so they're just using the Dirty Deeds picture.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Singer, Live Wire.
Yeah,
nice
that makes sense.
Nice
Right,
picture of
cool.
Taylor.
Very cool.
There's just some really brilliant stuff in this, I think.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I love it. It's just mega rare, and it's a nice thing to have.
So what year was that?
That is 1976, I think, Gav.
Yeah.
Hang on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 1976. I'm 99.9% sure, but there's no date on it.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It's a good picture as well. This was
It's got to be at least 76 because it's got that picture on the front.
Yeah.
$2.
Suggested retail price $2.95. And there's hang on, what did you say? Top 10, God Save the Queen, Jailbreak, House of the Rising Sun, Swan Lake, The Bird Squealer. How's that? I mean, Dancing Queen, Abba Dabba Doo. Some just really, it's just
It's random.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think.
Here we go. From left field.
What's he doing now?
He's finding something else ultra rare, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, I was just going to. I was just going to show something else just really quickly. I saw it there for a second as well.
If you don't know exactly where it is.
It's here. It's here. Just talk amongst yourselves for 2 seconds. And then I'll come.
Well, I'm hoping off the back of this. That anyone watching this that's got any AC/DC rare stuff, I would love to see it in the comments because I'd love to see Dill's face. And someone can just
show him something he can't buy.
So I would put that challenge out to anyone that's actually watching this.
Especially anyone who's got the splatter vinyl of If You Want Blood.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing he hasn't got.
I would love to see that. I'd love to see anything Bond related. If you've got anything, whack a picture on the YouTube or on Facebook. Love to see that.
I've already got it out. There you go. This is one thing just worth just showing just really quickly. This was a program in the other podcast on the fly and this is absolutely mint condition. I got
that quite recently, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, I bought this off of a not even an auction site, a second-hand site. I couldn't believe it. And the guy, I thought this can't be true, and I had to pay his daughter because he didn't want to use PayPal. But it's just absolutely fantastic. But some of the pictures in here, look. But this Mark Evans was still in the band, of course. And that single, the maxi single, got a copy of that as well somewhere.
Wow.
On the line. But of course, back in the day, look, there you go, Baby Sham.
Baby Sham.
Classy.
Everyone's
how
paired.
Is that?
There you go. Anyway, that's me, and I've got loads of other stuff, but I won't bore you with it.
We'll do a series of 24 episodes at some point, but at the moment we'll just leave it at that for Dill's DC collection. He can't help himself. So
anyway,
over to Jam and his
now,
DC relationship.
These are rather than collector's items. These are memorable. Most of my memories. A few items. Just in one nice little collage. Highlight of my young metal career, as you know, was Donington Monsters Rock 1984. I keep a few of these bits. Again, these don't have a monetary value, but you'll notice the little clips there of out of sounds where each band that got announced for Donington. I knew I was going to be able to go. AC/DC and Van Halen were announced early doors. Then Y&T and Etc. announced. Motley Crue and Gary Moore were stuck on. And it was rumoured that Ozzy might appear. But they'd never had 7 bands at Donington in one Monsters of Rock show. Who would ever need as many as 7 bands in one festival?
No.
Well, Donington 84,
wow.
They broke the mould.
That's true. Brilliant.
And strangely enough, so they went to 7, and that 7th one was Ozzy Osbourne. A lot of the T-shirts that were produced on the actual day didn't have Ozzy on them. I know my Donington Monster Rock didn't have Ozzy on it. Wow. So I suppose that breaks the fact that I lost that T-shirt. Thanks, Mum. I got thrown away or something bad. But that's my early days. So from 84, back in the day, 12-inch singles were a thing that you could make money on, weren't they? Yes. So most of the bands that played, especially the 3 that I wanted to see the most, AC/DC, Van Halen and Y&T, they all released 12 inches that I had to go to our price and purchase a few weeks before Donington. And that I put that in there because for some reason I saved the advert that AC/DC put for Nervous Shakedown. It was a double spread center spread from Sounds that the record company obviously chose to shell out. And I mean,
that's very cool.
That just resonated with me because I used to look at Sounds. I think it was every Thursday. I had a paper round. I was 13, and every Thursday I couldn't afford to buy it, obviously. So I had to get to the paper shop early so I could read Sounds first to see if any more bands had been announced or if any other bands were touring. And that's how you knew, obviously. That's how you found out. And secondly, when I actually opened it up, it had that in the centre. I just couldn't believe it. That made its way home with me.
When you look at that lineup, though, Jam, you see Motley Crue right at the bottom, and how they were below Y&T, and how eventually they ended up being absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's very scary. That was their first. That was Motley Crue's first date in the UK.
Really, I just know that.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Y&T are on the bill, but they had quite recently toured with DC. And that I think is actually how they sort of broke the UK, because we were talking before. We've been talking about support bands not always getting a good crack of the whip. Y&T, I believe, toured here with DC, I think, a couple of years before this and went down well, I believe. So yeah, they appeared on the bill. So yeah, all of that, all based really around the '84 Monsters of Rock. But yeah, it was a great time.
You said there's no monetary value, but people are framing those old. They're buying old sounds. They're framing them and selling them for a lot. You know, you're talking
Absolutely,
over.
Yeah. You get a lot for that if that was framed.
Yeah. So
actually,
but of course,
the record fair I went to, the record fair I went to today had some guy with cuttings, all in the cellophane and priced up. Yeah.
So I mean, granted, I'm not so good at the framing and that, but my Monsters of Rock, that's my program that has all those kept nice and neatly inside it. So when I then want to have a little memory, I'd look it up and go, here we go, keep them in my special room. And yeah, so great memories. And I dread to think how many times. Well, I know the amount of times I've actually reread those announcements. It just takes me back to when I was reading it. I mean, it's just like, wow, that's how it got announced in the paper. And that advert, I love the Donington. The actual advert there that I took out of the paper as well. The fact that DC were in red and all the red, it resonates.
I love that. I'd probably buy that if I saw that.
It's just fantastic. The colours, because it's a black and white. It's a black and white. It's a black and white print. It was 1984. Most print was black and white, and the fact that it had that red just brought it to life. And along the bottom, you'll be able...
red, didn't they? Because the papers always had the Sun paper was always in red, the Mirror was red. That's all they had. They only had red or black and white.
The tabloids were called red tops, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah. And then at the bottom of that poster, you can see that advert. Obviously, it had all of the places you could purchase the tickets, which is very handy. Oh, cool. Yeah. All the different record shops and all the different places you could go and purchase the ticket. So yeah, so that's my little bit of memorabilia.
That's brilliant. It's interesting.
Well done, Jam.
Thank you.
So yeah, on the DC side, this is me looking at the For Those About to Rock signed album cover. I didn't get it personally signed. I'm not. I didn't have that Dill style pleasure, but I just picked this up because I thought it was pretty cool. Got Brian Malcolm, obviously very poignant right now, and Simon Wright randomly signed an album he didn't appear on. Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's framed on my wall, so proud.
I love the way Brian Johnson signs Brian Johnson AC/DC. That's fucking brilliant.
And then this one, this is a highlight of my existence, I think. They did they played Hammersmith Odeon, believe it or not, back in 2003. This was a kind of a promotional tool for the Live at Donington DVD. This one came out around the same time, and they basically just did this promotional day, and to get a ticket, it was just the most impossible thing in the world to do, as you can imagine. Such a small venue as that, with AC/DC playing there. My friend
2003, and it was only a tenner.
No, this is the thing. It was the same price as the last time they played Hammersmith.
Yes.
Cool.
That was the ruse. Yeah, it wasn't the regular price.
Oh,
it was all a promotional stunt.
And that's made it. Yeah, that's covered their costs, hasn't it? That's covered the costs for the day.
It may not. You know, it was all about promoting the DVD. But you had to go online at a particular time and order it, or put yourself in the ballot. And my friend DC Dunk, hello Dunk, did that and got 2 tickets for a tenner. And it sold out in 4 minutes. And then the problem was that the gig then fell while he was on his honeymoon. So he had to come back from his honeymoon early.
Good lad. Good lad.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did.
What a bloke.
Yeah.
What a top man.
Yeah. I was in meetings and stuff, and I had to leave early because it was on Tuesday. It was random.
Are they still married?
Yeah.
Fair play to her.
Hi, Dawn. And and then you couldn't even go at 7:30 at night. You had to go during the day and queue and get your pass. You had to get your band. You know, and so you really had to jump through the hoops to be able to go to this thing. But amazing. Then there's footage online of the gig, and Brian is completely different. He's a completely different Brian. He talks in between songs, chats and says, you know, just chats about stuff. It's like a rehearsal. He's absolutely brilliant. I was down the front, maybe 3 or 4 back from the front, and they come on to Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, and it's like, it was so brilliant. And the T-shirt I got on the night looks pretty ordinary from the front, but on the back, it's Hammersmith, we salute you. And every date they've ever played Hammersmith.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's right here. I'm not going to wear it.
Hey, you still got it. Look at that.
There you go. What's interesting about that, Gav, if you look at the dates, AC/DC actually managed to headline Hammersmith in the first year of being in the UK. So they'd had a residency in the summer in the Marquee, and they've been touring relentlessly across the country. And they were getting such a... I mean, they originally played the Red Cow in Hammersmith. That was the first gig.
I read something, yeah.
They played 2 shows. They played one and then came back and did another one. And the word got out from the first show they played. There was hardly anyone there. By the time they played the second one at the Red Cow, it was absolutely rammed. And they were just getting such good press, good vibes from the music-paying public.
Yeah,
and then
the press.
Then they went to Hammersmith. So you think about the bands that we go and see these days, and they managed to get big really quickly in the UK to go from playing the Marquee, which only used to hold 500 people, to a couple of months later to a 5,000 capacity arena.
That's a good point.
That's amazing. It's fantastic. And, just sometimes I don't think people reflect on how quickly they rose and their meteoric rise, because, again, it was only 4 years after that they had the second biggest album of all time.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, amazing. So, yeah, that's a real treasured memory for me. Over to Gaps.
Yeah, this is for me. I bought Flicker the Switch when it came out, and I remember parading it around Icknield School, Watlington, which is where we all went to school. And in those days, you didn't have it in a bag. You always carried your album round so that you could show it off to people. It's the first press. It's got the embossed cover. It's absolutely brilliant album. And I got the Dirty Deeds Australian version a few years later. Since found out that it was only the New Zealand press. Dill told me that because it's got a red label rather than a blue one. So I knew it was from New Zealand. But it's one of my treasured possessions. That album is just fantastic. In my opinion, it's so much better than the international version of that album with songs on it that you don't see. Rock in Peace, for example, great song.
Where did you get that from?
I got it from Oxford Covered Market, actually.
All right.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
I still haven't got that one. I've got all the others. I haven't got that one for some reason.
And I love it because it's got a cellophane inner rather than a paper one.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of the imports do have that. Yeah.
There it is.
That's the Aussie one.
That's probably the Australian version, though.
Yeah,
with the blue inner, the blue Albert Records.
Send off for the songbook.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Some might say that's a merch sheet.
It's almost a merch sheet, isn't it?
Yeah, some might.
Brilliant. So are we going to go on to Postie's being now?
Hey.
So
just quickly.
Let's have a quick run through what you've acquired this week.
Well, mine's probably the quickest because I only got one album this week, only. And it's by the band called Stone Broken. Me and Jammy are going to go and see them in a couple of weeks at Oxford. And the best thing about this album is it's probably... I don't really like splatter vinyl, but this is probably the best splatter vinyl album I've ever seen in my entire life. It's absolutely
Pretty record.
It's so
Pretty
good.
Record. Like it.
So yeah, that's me for this one.
Well done, Jammy.
We have got, this was out last week, Doomsday Outlaw with Damaged Goods, getting a hell of a lot of press on the new wave of classic rock scene, or whatever you want to call it. Really good, really strong record. Followed up our visit to see Temperance last week by, I bought this at the gig, so it wasn't Postie's bin, it was, how dare you sell a record of your latest album at the gig, so I have to purchase it. But they are absolutely excellent as power metal. And then, again, brand new release, a little bit one for the younger taste. Yumi at 6's 8th record. I've got a soft spot for Yumi at 6. I adore them, and that is absolutely immense. That's me done.
Well done, mate.
Okay,
Well done.
cool.
Gab?
I'll go next. Yeah. Again, real briefly, I was at a record fair today in glorious Reading, and based on a previous recent episode of ours, I thought I'd pick this up. This is Motorhead Death Forever, 12-inch with On the Road and Steal Your Face live on the B-side. For some reason, I never picked it up. I might have had the 7-inch, but I've never had the 12-inch before, and it was a reasonable price, so I scooped that up. I collect all Marillion picture discs, and I'd had in my phone that this was the one that I was missing, so I did a quick check and made sure that it was the one I was missing. So that is a picture disc of Kaylee. So that's, I think, completed my Fish era Marillion.
How ironic that that's the last one, because you'd have thought that would have been the most popular one.
Yeah.
How is that?
I don't know.
I've seen that so many times,
Yeah,
and I just figured you would have it.
Yeah, no, I just didn't. I don't know why. It's, until I started logging all my collection.
Yeah.
You stand in the record shop going, have I got that? I must have that. And that's probably why I never bought it, because I thought I had it.
Yeah, fair
And the final one, it's a bit sexy. This is a Japanese import of Kiss the Elder with the beautiful obi, except it's not an obi. It's the whole front cover is changed because the Japanese market had to have Kiss in makeup on the cover. They didn't want this hand on a knocking, knocker on a wooden door. That so they did a whole new cover just for the Jap makeup market. For some reason, Ace is bigger than everybody else. How that got past Dean and Paul?
That's exactly what I was.
Short hair as well.
Yeah,
You've
so
got short hair in that.
Yeah, look at G.
It comes across and it comes off, and you've just got a regular Elder behind it with the usual Japanese lyrics. But yeah, I love the fact that they got that and we didn't. Well, I don't love the fact. I wish we'd had that, but yeah, it's quite a cool collectible.
Brilliant, mate.
That's
Lovely.
me.
Cool.
Yeah,
A couple of things. I got Motorhead hammered with the nice little hype stickers on as well, and to try and trump Gappy with the splatter.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, that's nice.
Pretty good.
So that's
very nice.
The colours are great. Yeah,
that looks nice. Nice inner. Couple of little AC/DC items. This is a Brazilian copy of Blow Up Your Video. So see the little, just see that there.
Oh yeah.
I've got a Venezuelan copy as well, but that's really different because it's got heat seeker cover on the front.
Yes.
And then,
I had Venezuelan on the bingo with Gav, so that's why I went there. I actually had Venezuela.
Finally, this is a Mexican copy of High Voltage, right? But this wasn't released until 1981, so this is a 1981 copy. And if you look at the bottom there, you can see the some Spanish writing. Okay. So there you go. So that's me. So that's it from Postie's been today. So if you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to see you commenting and get involved. We'll see you next time. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Guys.